I'm so pleased Dan is here, and Dan is an instrumental poet personally and professionally. I know him through Sacred Grounds open mic, and he has hosted, I don't know, Dan, what, 3 or 4 launches of my books? I mean, just the most supportive, cool cat in San Francisco, if I can say that and get away with it. It's truly a pleasure to have him here. He has now opened up his space, a faithful sponsor and supporter of poetry and a fine poet himself. He's got time now to be a guest on other programs because he's no longer always just holding space for other poets. So I'm delighted to be among those who give him this opportunity to take the floor, full 20 minutes, all to himself. Which I think he's going to do without any problem. So he sent me some information about him, so I'm going to read it. And when I'm done reading it, I'm going to pass the baton over to him. And during the question and answer period of this program, I'm going to put all the links you need to have to be able to access this man. Okay? All right. So here's an introduction to Dan Brady. Refers to himself simply as a San Francisco poet. But we all know what that means. That's kind of an eclectic good thing. Dan loves to write. He says it's great fun, good for the heart, mind, and health. And he's fascinated by how words fit together, chime, rhyme, and flow from one to the next. Those are his words, you see, and he actually writes them the way he feels them. He writes because he cannot be silent. How, he asks, could one be in this world? In my opinion, his secret sauce for success includes the belief that the right set of words presented in the right setting is one of the ways civilization evolves. Hats off to you for that, Dan. His work has been celebrated in numerous small press publications and contests. The expansive, and I mean expansive with a capital E, web of his poetry world includes ties with Bay Area's Poetic Coalition. We have John Rowe here from there, the Haiku Poets of Northern California, and he has led many, many workshops featured at venues in and around San Francisco and always has a full house, which is a good sign. Deep are his Sacred Grounds open mic roots. For more than 50 years, this weekly open mic venue in San Francisco, which was live, and the more recent online version have provided spaces for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of poets to share their work. It's a very eclectic opportunity, and you get a little bit of everything from A to Z, alpha and omega, so it's a really nice mix. His own poetry explores the formless as it becomes form. It is the art of channeling creation, making sense out of what is beyond sense. A calling, he swears, that is as eternal as any answer that may come. When inspiration comes, he takes dictation, and poems may take minutes or years to settle into shape. Now let's hear what he's got to say about that. All right, sweet friend, it's on you.
There we go. I like to see the audience. Thank you. So, inspiration. Boy, let me tell you. There was a very tiny story. I had made this poem. It was a 2-pager. It was beautiful. I read it many times. I had worked on it for months. And I read it to acclaim several times. It even got published. And I thought, oh, this is a finished piece. So I was doing a reading at Sacred Grounds. I thought I'd pull out this thing because it was a crowd pleaser. And before I got up to read it, I'd leave the first page, and there was a little, I made a semicolon. I turned to the second page, and every line this had to be changed, move this. I was drawing arrows and sort of, and I said to myself, this was done. This was finished. Here I am rewriting the first page stayed the same. So, are they ever done? So this first piece is the first poem that I wrote in the modern set of times, meaning post-2000, where I came to a point where I was writing a lyrical piece. I was sitting there writing this poem, all of a sudden it started rhyming. I thought, oh, I'll try to keep that in mind when I keep on writing. So the title is The Manifold Manners of Means, which translated means the different ways something happens, and the something becomes clear as we go on. The short title is Life's Tune. Through a flower's flow of colors, and autumn winds undone, and the still white of winter under a sharp and glinting sun. Through a meal with good old friends, all with family heartily bound, and stories by the campfire, and songs that are passed round. Through the smells of summer grasses, through the redwood dells at dawn, after moonless nights at sunrise, where to gleaming shores we've gone. Through the words we banter daily, the common office jest, through the phrases that we know by, the language we speak best. Through the hearts on fire and winging, through the thoughts that wing over the swell, through the spirit that comes unto us, we know we're one as well. The community of the heart brings one on tender, from above, to present the present to us in the quietest ways of love. The quietest way, the quietest ways, the quietest way of love. With each breath we breathe, in each moment that we last, before our eyes, in an eye's blink, we make the future and the past. And so it happens that each day, whether by chance or through an old song, opportunity will knock as you go to pass life's tune along. You never know when it's going to happen. Thank you. Thank you. So, the muse, right? So this poem, special request, actually a couple of people. I have this one book here, I'm just going to show it to you. It's actually science fiction. It's called Tales of Earth. And in that book, there are short stories, but also what I call psalms or poems. And this poem, titled You Mustn't Be Afraid of Death, is Psalm 698, and here we go. What is death, if not graceful, quiet, a peaceful singularity, where the eternal and the infinite kiss? Now, I know you must know passion, my friends, how the burning heart turns the soul, bends the mind, and sweats out that body. I know you know what I'm talking about. And so you think of death as a loss. But it's more. It is all that, and then some. Think about it. Death does not harm you. Life does that. Believe you me. Can I have an amen somewhere? Death delivers you from the suffering flesh, the tortures of reason, the cold steel chains of logic, and the binding wrap of self-designed deceit, conceits, and illusions. Death holds nothing to fear. That's what life is for. Death is not cruel, nor is it painful. Nope. Those are both life's work too. And you know I'm right. Consider the worst. Death is nothing more than nothing more. And if it's not, if you're into, say, reincarnation, well, take everything I say here and multiply it by 500 times. Death is easy. Anyone can do it. Once. Afterwards, you won't have to worry. You'll get used to it. After a while, you'll have no choice. After a while, you'll see there's nothing to it. It'll be like slipping into something more comfortable after leaving that so-called life you left behind. So, you mustn't be afraid of death. Doesn't just about everyone say that's when you get to meet your maker? Wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, at least once? Say, Everything you want to say? Ask all those questions? Afraid of death? Don't be foolish. There is no dark grave for the deathless soul, one filled with light, happily dwelling in a shimmering world set in a heavenly firescape of glory, blissful with love. Such foreknowledge dissuades one from fearing death, banishes all the mourning and abiding regrets, and secures a peace no bitterness can touch. Beyond the reach of malice, there is nothing but joy. Only the lost and forgetful dwell in death's sorrows, my friend, which is why I say it. In this life, death should be the least of your worries. Just in case you're thinking about that, So that was a response to someone who had read a poem about death, and I thought, I have something to say about that. So, how inspiration comes in the moment, a click of an association. This next one was inspired by a prompt initiated by Jack Foley, a noted Bay Area poet, and essentially the charge was to write a happy poem. So, this is a happy poem. A lark, a sprite, a glass of wine and thou, in a pastoral setting, picnicking, wow! This is life with a capital L and how. I might think of France, Corsica, or the Ardennes, but whether in a dell or in a delta, life is made of friends, enjoined to enjoy overflowing cups to make temporal amends. To me, a dandelion seed blown into the blue on high, a silhouette of cypress against a blazing sunset sky, or the unseen flight of a single bird calling on the fly, are samples of the simple joys which often get passed by, without a thought taking note or ever wondering why, even while for many happiness seems to be remote, even sly. We don't have to focus on sufferance and pain. We don't have to join the dirge of those who complain. We don't have to compete to see who's the most insane. This world is a world much as any that can be found. It is glorious, verdant, blue, green, white, and round. Its moon is a glowing wonder, providing mysteries that yet abound. I say it is to happiness that our verse should be turned, for it is through happiness that our souls become learned, and so to happiness should we dedicate all we've earned. A dusky meadow, upland in some seaboard state, where fireflies and children with joy have a date. A watermelon waits along with cake on a plate, and happy, happy parental eyes look on and reminisce, and happy, happy teens smile and whisper their first kiss, as elders and musicians tune up the music for some folk dancey bliss. A happy poem. So, oh my goodness. So this piece, as thank you, inspired by a news story, and I'll just read the poem. You'll remember it, and it's political, so, but ephemeral at the same time. For Malala Yousafzai, a song of light. Sing of love, hope, and joy, a gleam in her eyes. Sing of a girl who shed her blood on their lies. Sing of one girl whose words rang true. Sing of her light and her innocence too. Sing of a girl on her school bus one day. Sing of her insight, seeing the blindness in its way. Sing of that light within a girl's soul. Sing of a girl to live her life whole. Sing of the light, the soul of one girl. Sing of the changes she's made in her world. The song of the soul is both eternal and great. It cannot be put out. Never has been to date. And I actually, when I wrote, was inspired by the news story, and I wrote that, I sent a copy to an email website address, and actually I got a couple of little replies. I don't know if they were both from her because she was still in the hospital at the time, but still, I thought, wow, that was great. Wait a minute, I might have missed a page. Hold on. This is not rehearsed. Okay. All right. So another little book. This is Haiku, Infolded Meaning, and it's a collection of haiku from way back in the 70s all the way to like the early 2000s. Very eclectic. And I'm just going to read several of those. I might sometimes I read them twice just because that seems to be focused. So anyway, so here we go. That first chord, a song's timestamp. My heart, a medley of memories. I think we've all been there. You know. Now this is political, funny, and it's a haiku all in one package. If a man deep in the forest mansplains, does it matter? That's just a question. Now this one, sometimes inspiration, found haiku, found poems. Okay, so Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul, and Mary, they had a song called "The Great Mandala," which if you've never heard it, what a song. So the haiku is a found haiku. It's the words from the song. They go like this. Death has gagged his accusations. We're not guilty. He was crazy. And it's been going on for 10,000 years. What a song. So haiku that involved Trump. I know. Forgive me. This one was inspired by someone who said something at Sacred Ground somewhere. And they were talking about Trump being arrested. Okay. And someone said, I'd like to see him removed in handcuffs. So the haiku was inspired. It goes like this. I don't want Trump removed in handcuffs. I'd rather he was fully dressed. I mean, just think about it. And then in the political realm, smoky battlefield. Oh, start again. Smoky battleground. Corpses strewn. A medallion's glint. The long justice of silence. Yeah. And this one was, a comedian was doing a routine, and he didn't say this, but this is what came to mind. The parade! Crowds cheer. The grim reaper waves, supporting everyone's troops. Well. Oh, and this is a haiku on open mics. At the open mic, you get everything from, oh my God, to, oh my, ah. And some haiku, like they go on forever, ever in their own way. On Poets and Poetry, he said, you know, if you shine a light bright enough, they just might see it. And this one is similar. At the end of time, what will you have said that makes a difference still? You know? That's another poet on poetry. If they paid me, I couldn't afford to do this. All right. So we're moving right along here. Oh, I'll do one more. There's a couple haiku, but I want to do these two, and then I'll go to the next poem. One of my favorites, actually. Simple question. If your heart is in the right place, where else would you rather be? You know, just a question. And then in the metaphysical Buddhist kind of sense of things, how far can you go when everywhere you go, it's you? And then this one, in case you have any doubts, you are as close to the truth as you ever have been, are, or ever will be. That's one of them truisms. All right. So, this poem, where is it? Okay. This is one of my favorites over the years, and it has lyric elements, and it was inspired by hearing someone say something, and I just went to town with it. Title is Light, Light, Light. From the start of this universe until now, there has always been the light. Clearly, it is an essential factor, for what else do we all come to both eventually and aright but the light, light, light? No thing overshadows this. It's what moves this poor body, causes my fingers to trace such moments as this, counsels the passion coursing my heart well, and what so enlivens my giddy soul tonight but the light, light, light? Terms cannot describe or contain this. Actions provide mere indications. Lyrics might bear it so long as the breath bears them. Nothing temporal can truly be seen without it, and all things eternal are made up only of it. What else moves us within so as to create without, passing for inspiration's sight, but the light, light, light? And so in the deep, cold world of winter, when sullen and lifeless and leaden heavens occlude the hope of celestial bodies, when the landscape beneath is set in a monochromatic display, yes, fish may still seize the day beneath their ice, yes, furtive burrowing survivors do abide, and the heart of an owl harbors its heated blood as it wings down silently after sighting its prey. Dark talons clutch the unwary or likeless, where blood spatters on moonlit white. What else rules there but the light, light, light? What muffles the tolling bell better than distance in time? What rings it ever clearer to echo in the mind? What's the message it means to send all these years later? What do I do by telling you this? Why do such words as these make their way here? What causes my spirit to soar, my heart then mine to quicken? What makes a singular difference, no matter how seemingly slight, but the light, light, light? Now, when death is no longer a distant, dismissed threat, but present, promised, and immediately certain, your intimate companion, if you will, waiting on you, so to speak, hand and foot, what will move still until that very last? What makes its essential difference felt? What else is there to keep in sight but the light, light, light? So, wow. Karen, where's my time at? Because I lose track.
You have about you have maybe a couple poems more, and then we'll go to the Q&A. And just for those who want to hear more, I've taken care of that. He's going to close out our show with at least a poem or two for the road afterwards. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to stop this segment with this piece because I have a couple that I'll do at the end, or one of them, whichever.
All right.
This book, Orphan City, was inspired by a collection of youth poets, an anthology made in San Francisco. When I was hospitalized at one point, a friend of mine, Sally Saunders, gave me the anthology, and this collection came out of that. I couldn't stop writing the poems in response to these kids and stuff like that. So this is one of those poems. And it's at the beginning of the set. It's called Preview. Poetry is not easy, not simple, not always sweet and nice, not always mine, not always yours. Even the poet doesn't know everything. There are mysteries in each word. A poem is a waterfall in the mountains of your heart. It is a current of imagination taking you along for the ride. It's what you feel before you make a prayer, before you tell a joke, before you tell that really good idea. How you feel after you help someone, after you are helped by someone. After you listen to someone's tears, it feels like a friendly hand, a soft, warm whisper, cool breeze on a hot day, getting enough sleep, having quiet, being told you are loved, telling someone you love them. It is all those pieces you have from your most intimate puzzle and finding someone who will help you pick out the pieces and put it all back together. It is all the words you want to say to everyone in public for every good reason you can possibly think of.
Wow, wow. Everyone unmute, please, and applaud this fine San Francisco poet.
Woohoo!
Great job, Dan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing,
Wonderful.
right?
Thank
A
I mean,
mountain of your heart. Oh,
I know, right? We hardly get to hear all of this, Dan, because Dan's usually hosting, and he has time for one poem himself. So this is brilliant. Does anyone have a question for the maestro? Dan, you were great, by the way. What a gas! I'm really glad we're doing this. Okay, my friend, really wonderful. And I just want to put in a plug for Antoinette, who's here, and myself. She and I are taking over the Sacred Grounds open mic live venue in San Francisco.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So we are doing our best, and she's actually mostly the muscle, I think, behind this. But we're doing our best to keep up the Dan Brady tradition. Okay, so are there any questions? Anyone have a question to ask the maestro?
Deborah has a
Yes, Deborah, go.
Too. I am kind of obsessed with process. I'm so intrigued to learn different poets' process. And so how do you go about when you get inspired? Do you have a particular form that you're trying to plug in that inspiration to? Or does the inspiration dictate the form?
That's a great question. And the first thing that happens is, I don't want to say, I hear voices, but I hear words come to mind, and it's a run of words, and I then capture them as best I can. Now, if I'm at home or I have access to pen and paper or some other thing, I scribble away until the voice, pauses, and I pause, and I continue on. Okay, so taking dictation essentially is where things almost always start. Even if it's a poetic prompt, I wait for the voice to start. After that, I have like the first draft, and then I usually let it, then maybe a few days later I look at it again and I go, oh, that can't be there, change this, and I move it around. I read it aloud and I read my way through it, and I change up things as I go. Sometimes they're pretty much, it's fairly rare, but it happens where something is, I don't have to change this much. Maybe this period or a semicolon or something, or change the ending. Sometimes it goes on for quite a while. There was a famous haiku, at least in my mind. It's a haiku, for crying out loud. 2 years, and it was
Yeah.
still not. I couldn't get the thing that I wanted to see. So it's essentially taking dictation, listening, capturing the text, and then reading, rereading. I call it polishing. And when I go through it at one point and I make very, very few changes or minor ones, then it's ready to read. And then, of course, when I read it, other changes come to mind. Sometimes I have to scribble.
Right.
But that's the basic process. Just
Yes.
revise, reread, rethink,
Beautiful.
and give time between, you know, editings, like that.
Perfect.
Right.
Is that,
Thanks.
that
That's so helpful. Thank
okay?
you.
All right. So, great work from everyone. Dan, do you have a couple poems? I'm asking Dan to close us out, to give us at least 1 or 2 poems for the road. So take it away, good sir.
All right. So something I like to do. Someone has to tell me A or B.
B.
Okay, that takes care of that. All right.
Because I know that you do that. Okay.
All right. So this has to do with relates or dovetails with or from Karen's piece. You'll see the connections. It's untitled. I am not what I wear, not my Nikes. I am not my gender, not a boy. I am not my ethnicity, not an Arab. I am not my religion, not Muslim. I am not my nation, not American. I am not what I eat, rice and veggies. I am not my school, not my classmates, not my test scores, not my beautiful eyes, not my smooth skin, not my music, not my books, not my laughter, not what you can see, not what you can touch, hear, talk about, and learn about, say about me. I am not anything you can measure. I am not what you think when you see me. I am not seen, not heard, not known for what I am, seen for what I love, or understood in ways I understand.